Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Welcome back from Israel. Last week it was me that came straight from Israel. This week Alicia came straight from Israel. She was on the Meyer Academy, Meyer Prep tour to Israel. There's a couple of other people that just came back from Israel. Mm-hmm. And from the airport, she came here to practice with Abby. So thank you, but even more important than that, she brought me rogalach.
And I got a necklace, so sweet on the outside.
Necklace rogalach. My friends, this says there is nothing, you have to make Shabbat special. I make a lot of things special about my Shabbat here. There's a couple of rituals that only happen on Shabbat, right? We shave, we put the special cologne. There's a suit for Shabbat, all these things that in Israel, Shabbat is rogalach. In Israel, Shabbat is rogalach. So if you've been to Israel and you've been to Machne Yehuda market and you ate from marzipan and that sweet taste of Shabbat, because Shabbat should have a sound, Shabbat should have a smell, Shabbat should have a visual, Shabbat should have a sentiment and a feeling, and Shabbat should be made out of beautiful memories. And so here we are, God willing, creating yet one more joyous Shabbat memory, beginning by turning to someone that's sitting next to us and wishing them from the bottom of our heart with an imagination of how sweet the rogalach is. Shabbat Shalom. Wow. Shabbat And because Alicia came back from Israel, because we had a community trip coming back from Israel, because we have special guests from Israel that we'll tell you about later, and then today, instead of Yedid Nefesh, we're going to do Eretz Zavat Chalav. Because we celebrated Israel's 75th this week, we're going to start with Eretz Zavat Chalav, a land flowing of milk and honey. The words are simple, but if you want to follow them, they're on page 350 in your Sidurim.
Eretz Zavat Chalav, Chalav v'dvash. 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 Eretz Zavat Chalav, Chalav v'dvash.
Thank you. Alicia, thank you so much. And Mazel Tov. For, when we have Bnei Mitzvahs at Temple Judea, we tell them their Bnei Mitzvah is not really complete until they haven't visited Israel. So now I officially declare you Bat Mitzvah. But I'm already inviting you. Next year we're going to do an unbeaten tour of Israel. places that nobody even knows exist in Israel. So now you're a veteran of Israel. You can now think about the off the beaten track Israel. But we are going to focus now. This is a great simcha that you came back from Israel. We're going to focus on our simchas. But before we do that, by the way, those of you who came early today, you have a double simcha because it just started raining so bad outside.
No, I did not see.
So it just, even God is telling you, come early to Temple Judea. It's good. Take a deep breath and exhale your oil of the week. I don't think it was such a bad week, but I guess for some of us, yeah. But this oil, and this is a good opportunity to make sure your phones are off also. That usually you do that before you come in, but let's do it now again. And now we're going to focus on joy. We have a couple of joys. We had Alicia coming back, and we have this little guy. Who's going to be getting his Hebrew name today over here. And this is a great story. I just have to show you because I have to. Right over here is his dad. Where are you? You down here? Where are you? No, Matt's here. This is his older brother, and this is his mother right over here. She's right here. And this was the first group I ever guided in Israel. This is the first group I ever guided in Israel. They were there. And his brother had his bar mitzvah, and now, 20 some years later, we're getting to name his nephew. So what a beautiful closing of a circle. I'm so happy. We have a lot of other simchas over here. Please share with us simchas. Trying to look. Janet had a birthday. Happy birthday, Janet. Are we sharing numbers? 77, Sunset Road. Good. Judd is home. But he sent Shelly over here. So Judd, happy birthday. We're happy that Shelly, yes, Eric. Your cousin's wife birthday, that's Mazel Tov. Bob Savell, the only man in the history of Temple Judea to serve twice as the first man. Because Rosalie was twice a president here. I'm saying here. So Bob, happy birthday. Are we sharing numbers? 86, only 68 in Israel, only 60. Oh, good to see you. Jerry's birthday, 77 also, very nice. Mazel Tov to you. Mazel Tov, more simchas. Yes, Shar.
Birthday's Tuesday.
Birthday is on Tuesday. This is Shar. Are we sharing numbers? 86, look, young Bob. Very nice. Yes, we have some of our newest members, Mark and Philistine. And Mark has a 80th birthday? Are you serious? Not anniversary. Mazel Tov, Mark. Mazel Tov this week. Beautiful. Mazel Tov, Mark. More simchas. Simchas once. So we have a lot of new guests, so welcome. Anyone who's here for the first time, it comes with a warning. This might be the beginning of the rest of your life. What we do here is infectious, and the only way to get help for this infection is to come back again Friday after Friday. My friends, lots of blessings. There's also mourners among us, and I need to acknowledge that. But it is a blessing for us that you find us to be such a spiritual and comforting home that even in the darkest week of your lives, as you said goodbye to a dear friend of ours and member, you choose to come here so that we can hug you and love you and remind you that you're not alone even in those difficult times. So that is also in a different way, knowing that you're never alone if you're part of this temple. I'm going to ask you, if you can, if your bodies allow you and your soul so move you, to please stand so we can say, thank you, Adonai. Thank you for sustaining us. Thank you for trusting us with life. Thank you for giving us the ability to be here together as a community today. Shehechian.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam.
Try hugging someone next to you.
Shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai
the time and make the effort to turn to someone you do not know. Welcome them, greet them, tell them where you're from. Tell them where you're from.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hashamayim, Malachei Elyon. Yihi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch. Boachem l'shalom. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Yihi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch. Baruchuni l'shalom, Baruchuni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Yihi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch. Seitchem l'shalom. Seitchem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Yihi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch.
Pam and Andrew, we're so happy that you're part of our family. And now you lit the Shabbat candles. It's a symbol of the fact that this new life is bringing light into your house. Even though it's at 3 a.m. in the morning, it's still okay. But this is just the beginning of a long road in which we will celebrate, God willing, with both your families, many simchas to come, right? You ready for your bar mitzvah? Not yet. He said, yeah, good
Couple
child.
years.
Let's say the blessing of you being here and bringing light into our community together.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu להדליק נר של
Amen. And we'll say thank you and mazel tov, grandmothers, and you'll have a seat. And Pam, Andy, you'll come stand over here. Mason, you stand up here. Come here. Come here, young man. Want to hold the Kiddush cup? No, you have to wait till your bar mitzvah. Go ahead, you can hold it. I'm just joking. But hold it like this. Very good. All right. The Kiddush reminds us that God made time holy. And it is through the birth of children and grandchildren that we see time, right? Because when we look at ourselves at the mirror, we don't look any different, right? We don't feel we age. It's only when we see kids suddenly we say, oh my God, they grow so fast. And we realize how valuable time is. And so it's only through seeing you growing from this little kid that is now with his own kids over here on this bima that we realize how sacred time is. And we bless the gift of time and our ability to make good of that time on page 5 with our Kiddush. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat ואהבה ורצון התחילנו זיכרון למעשה וראשית כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש זכר יציאת מצרים קיבלנו אהבת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחית Ata Adonai Mekadesh
Amen.
It's
L'chaim.
grape juice. You can have a little bit. It's fine. Yeah. Either grape juice or Manischewitz. You can have both. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you so much. And we now want to go to the official naming. I'll take that. Pam, why don't you just explain to us for a moment how you chose both his grammatical name and his Hebrew beautiful name.
Yes, well, Preston's name is Preston George. His middle name is for George, my grandfather, who was a wonderful, amazing man, a World War II veteran, and was just so, so special to me. So that is how we got George, and then we got the G for Geffen. And I have learned from Rabbi Yaron that Geffen was a very famous, amazing man in Israel who recently passed away.
Just this week, and it's such a beautiful way to name Geffen and to keep his legacy. But Geffen is also the Jewish idea. It says in the prophets, right? Ish tachat gafno v'tachat enato, that in the days of peace, we shall all sit. He's going to be a cantor.
Amen.
Yeah, keep
like,
going.
yeah.
That in the days, when peace comes, we will all sit under our fig tree and under our vineyard, our vine. And this is Geffen, which is vine. So now we're going to officially name him over here in front of the open ark. We're going to ask everyone to please rise if you can. And we're going to say, Mishe berech avotenu v'imotenu v'varech ta'yeled hazeh v'ikara, come close, v'ikara shmo be'Israel, and may his name, the one who blessed our ancestors, bless this boy, and may his name in Israel be called Geffen ben Chaim ve'Perach. And today, now, Geffen, now that you have your Hebrew name, we can give you a blessing that we hope your parents will give you every Friday. This is the priestly benediction. We're supposed to give it to our kids. I just sent it on with the video. If your kids are far away, you can record it and send it to them wherever they are around the world. And we hope that these words, we believe that these words are very powerful and they will protect and guard you and walk with you as a family. And it goes like this.
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
Geffen, may God guard and protect you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichunecha.
Geffen, may God always shine God's countenance upon you and be gracious to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasim lecha shalom.
Geffen, may God always be present in your life, and may God bless you and your beautiful family with peace. And we all affirm this by saying three words: Ken yehi ratzon.
Ken yehi ratzon. Ken yehi ratzon. Ken yehi ratzon.
May it be God's will. Please have a seat. Thank you so much. We continue with Kabbalat Shabbat. There's no other way to welcome Shabbat just with music, with song, and with joy. We're on page 12 for Lechune Ranena.
Le
driving home. We were driving home, and there was an amazing thunderstorm. There's things you can see time after time after time. It never gets boring. For some reason, the thunder yesterday was not going from the heavens down to the earth, but it was going in this parallel lines, and there's layers of it, and it was like an unbelievable light and sound display of nature. And it's one of those things that I feel that sometimes we live our lives and we kind of go through the motions and we kind of forget to look. We kind of forget to look of how beautiful the world is. And once in a while, nature says to us, hey, I'm here, pay attention. You live in such a marvelous world. All it would take is for the earth to tilt 1%, right? And we couldn't live the kind of world that we have, the kind of life that we have. You live in, so stop. Look at the light, listen to the thunder, and take a breath. While it thunders a lot in Florida, even when it doesn't thunder, that's the goal of Shabbat. Shabbat has that purpose, that we stop. It's not to rest, it's to stop and to look around. So take a look at somebody sitting with you. They could be just a good friend or a family member. They could be someone you just met here, someone you don't know, but might become here. Just look around you and acknowledge for a moment the beauty not of just this world, but the beauty of this community. Our ability to say whatever's happening out there for the next few minutes here, we're going to let it go. We're going to focus on the blessings in our lives. And we do that with these beautiful psalms written for us thousands and thousands of years ago. We're at the bottom of page 13. Try to imagine that lightning, light and show. And this is the musical, it fits because it
ישמחו השמיים ותגל הארץ ירעם הים ומלוא ישמחו השמיים ותגל הארץ ירעם הים ומלוא everyone ישמחו השמיים ותגל הארץ ירעם הים ומלוא ישמחו השמיים ותגל הארץ ירעם הים ומלוא
So we did celebrate Israel this week, and part of we had a lot of discussions about what does it mean to be a Jew in a relationship to Israel, and can you be an Israeli without relationship to Judaism? Can you be a Jew without a relationship to Israel? The answer is yes, but you're going to lack. Because one of the most beautiful things is that when you do go to Israel, you can go to the place where Lecha Dodi was written. You can go to Tzfat. You've been to Tzfat, right? You can go to the synagogue of Yitzchak Luria, right, Ha'ari HaKadosh, and see the place where they every Friday night went out to the Chekel Tapuchim, that field, right, in which they looked at the sun setting over Mount Meron and they welcomed Shabbat. And then you get Israelis that come over here and they realize you can do Judaism in such a beautiful way with joy and that you can sit next to your wife. It's okay. You don't all have to be, right? We need that Polanization. We have a lot to teach Israelis, and Israelis have a lot to teach us. The United States has a lot to teach about values pluralism, a lot of other things that Israel can learn from us, and we have a lot to learn from them. So today I want to invite all of those that just came back from Israel this week, last week, or the week before from our temple trip to join me at the doors for Lecha Dodi. And the music that we're doing Lecha Dodi comes from a synagogue in Tel Aviv called Beit Tfilah Israeli. It goes like this.
Ya la 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 ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Lecha Dodi likakala. Pnei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha Dodi likakala. Pnei Shabbat nekavela. Shamo v'zichro v'nipurecha. Oh my gosh. Ishianu el ha-meyuchad. Adonai echad u'shemo echad. L'shem u'tiferet ve'elithilah. Lecha Dodi likakala. Pnei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha Dodi likakala. Pnei Shabbat. He likes you. It's good. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha. Ki mekor haberacha. Merosh mikerem nesucha. Sof ma'aseh b'machshava techila. Lecha Dodi likakala. Pnei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha Dodi likakala. Pnei Shabbat nekavela.
Let's all rise. Open the doors for, look how many people have been in Israel in the last 3 weeks. It's amazing.
בואי בשלום עטרת בלה. גם בשמחה ובתהילה. תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה. lecha dodi likakala. Pnei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha dodi likakala. Pnei Shabbat nekavela. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la.
Please remain standing as we move straight to our Baruchu, taking all that joy that we built up in the last 30 minutes and using that sense of elevation to hopefully feel the presence of God around us and praise that presence with Baruchu on page 28.
Ya la la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la. Ya la la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la.
We acknowledge creation with this beautiful prayer on page 31. This is an hour of change. Within it we stand uncertain on the border of flight. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brothers, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the border of flight. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over?
ומעביר יום והביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד, ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב הרביב.
We're going to leave our Sidurim for a moment. I'm just going to follow Abby and her angelic voice in this same kavanah, this intentional prayer preparing us for the Shema, and reminding us that sometimes we might have an idea. Sometimes we might come home and say, something's going to happen or not going to happen. I'm in the mood for something, I'm not in the mood for something. I can do something or I can't do something. And then this prayer reminds us to stay open to the opportunities that, God willing, the presence of God, some kind of godly figure, will open up our eyes and teach us what is right and help us leave pre-motions that we have of others, of ourselves, and allow us to be, and to be whole, and to be complete, and to be one with God, one with ourselves, one with those who love us. Open up our eyes, teach us how to live.
Open up our eyes, teach us how to live, fill our hearts with joy and all the love you have to give. Gather us in peace as you lead us to your name, and we will know that you are one. Open up our eyes, open up our eyes, teach us how to live, teach us how to live, fill our hearts with joy, fill our hearts with joy and all the love you have to give. Gather us in
Lead us to your
peace
name.
as you lead us to your name, and we will know that you are one.
Baruch atah Adonai, Amo Yisrael, Shema Yisrael,
Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
Temple Judea, we have a tradition. We usually do it at bar mitzvahs, bat mitzvahs, bi mitzvahs, in which we read the Vahavta in first person, just to remind ourselves to stop looking at others and hope that the change will come from them, but to realize that the change has to come for us. You can't expect the person next to you to do what is right. You just have to get up and do it yourself. And God willing, your presence, your actions, as you all know the motto of Temple Judea, right, Doug? Joyous Judaism that inspires action. I just taught them that this week, so it's good. But joyous Judaism, you have to hope that your Judaism is so joyful, is so full with love that you have that inspiration to act. And when you act, God willing, people will act around you and do what is right. And so we ask you to make that switch in your minds on page 36 and read together. I shall love Adonai my God with all my heart, with all my soul, and with all my might. I will take to heart these instructions with which you charge me this day. I will impress them upon my children and grandchildren. I will recite them when I stay at home and when I'm away, when I lie down and when I get up. I will bind them as a sign on my hand and let them serve as a symbol on my forehead. I will inscribe them on the doorposts of my house and on my gates. Thus I shall remember to observe all your commandments and to be holy to my God. You are Adonai, my God, who brought me out of the land of Egypt to be my God. You are Adonai, my God. Adonai Elohechem. And one of the most difficult things in celebrating Israel's Independence Day is, of course, that you have to do it immediately following the most difficult 24 hours in Israel, which is Memorial Day to the fallen soldiers. And I wanted to share with you one of those beautiful places where Judaism and the Jewish religion and the Israeli religion can interact. In many Reformed congregations, some years ago it started and now it has become a phenomenon. We as Temple Judea supported this through activities that happened in Yozma and Modin. There is an Havdalah today. It has become very common to have an Havdalah. On Tuesday, on the night, it happened to be Tuesday night, on the night of Erev of Yom HaZikaron, 24 hours of grief and sorrow for these young men and women who sacrificed their lives so that we can have our freedom. And how do you move? How do you move from that sadness to the joy of Yom HaAtzmaut to spraying foam on each other and hitting each other with plastic hammers? That's what they do in Israel. And suddenly there's a Jewish answer, because we know how to do it every week. We know how to say goodbye to a joyful Shabbat. As we enter into a mundane Sunday, we have a ceremony called Havdalah. And so today, because of Reformed Judaism, because of progressive and liberal Judaism in Israel, which we at Temple Judea support, people of Israel, secular Israelis who define themselves as Israelis by religion, they know how to have Havdalah, so that it could speak to them and separate their sadness, their grief, from their ability to celebrate Yom HaAtzmaut. That's not an easy journey, but we Jews, we're used to hard journeys. Our story begins with a hard journey. We left Egypt and wandered in the desert 40 years. And as we left Egypt, we sang this song. We continue to sing it every day to remind ourselves we're not afraid of challenges. We always find a way to reach that promised land. 840. שער כי פרדנו את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו.
ברוך אתה
ברוך
אדוני
וברוך שמו.
גאל ישראל.
Page 42.
I think I just went up to someone and said, wow, the weather's been beautiful today, and did not realize it was pouring at the moment. It reminds me of this dance of life, and that's what it is. It's a dance. It's a moment of for sure, it's going to be clear, and then you have rain pouring. And I love this type of weather, because it keeps me on my toes. It makes me realize that that is life. Not knowing what the next minute will bring, not knowing, let alone what the next day or year or week ahead. So Hashkivenu allows us to be held in this moment, because this is real and this is now. So whoever you're literally holding, I wish I didn't have a guitar. I would have him in my hands, I promise you. Whoever you're holding, whether they're here in your heart, hold on tight. When I lay down at night, when I rest my head, oh God, watch over me. And when the morning comes, we thank the Holy One and pray for peace. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom v'hamidenu shomeinu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom v'hamidenu shomeinu lechaim. Ushmor tzidkenu uvoleinu lechaim u'shalom me'ata ve'ad olam. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom v'hamidenu shomeinu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom v'hamidenu shomeinu lechaim. When I lay down at night and I rest my head, oh God, watch over me.
In a moment, we'll stand for our Amidah. I want to give you some food for thought, because you could always pray through, but you could also just stop and think. And this week's Torah portion is actually a double portion. It's called Acharei Mot Kedoshim, after the death, because it is the Torah portion after the death of the two sons of the high priest Aaron. And then Kedoshim, one of the most famous Torah portions ever, with the holiness code of Leviticus 19. But what is the connection between Acharei Mot, after the death, Kedoshim Tihiyu? Kedoshim Tihiyu means you shall be holy. There's an intonation there that it's impossible to be holy, that it's just something we thrive to, we yearn to. Kedoshim Tihiyu means that it's always a little bit in the future, that all you can do is constantly work at being kadosh. You could constantly work on trying to be holy. And holy means, as we'll talk a bit later, loving your re'ah, your fellow, as yourself. Holiness means treating others with love, with respect, with dignity, no matter what color, what gender, what sexual preference, who they are, what they believe in. But why does it have to come after Acharei Mot, after the death? What needs to die in order for us to be able to treat others with that kind of love that I'll speak in a few minutes? Our ego. Achrei the Kabbalist, the mystics of Judaism say, there is no way that you can love others before you kill a little bit of that ego of yours, before you let go of this notion that you are better than anyone else, that you are smarter or more successful or more anything. Only acharei mot, only after we kind of let that part of the ego that takes us to bad places die, only then can we yearn to be kedoshim. Some material for thought as we ask you to rise, turn east to Jerusalem for our Amidah, page 46. Take a few moments for silent reflection. You can follow our Siddur on page 48. Read the English on the left side on 49 all the way to 62. You could also just close it. Just try to listen to your heart. I'm sure your soul has something to tell you. Maybe a little conversation with that ego that sometimes gets out of hand and stops you from allowing you to love others as you should. Just a few moments. The purest of prayers, the sound of babies. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal soul of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Baruch atah Adonai mevarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom.
Shalom Rav, O Yisrael Amcha, Tasih Le'olam. Shalom Rav, O Yisrael Amcha, Tasih Le'olam. Shalom Rav, O Yisrael Amcha, Tasih Le'olam. Shalom Rav, O Yisrael Amcha, Tasih Le'olam.
May the words of our mouths and the meditations of our heart be acceptable to you, Adonai, our rock and our redeemer. And as we prayed for peace, now it is time to pray for healing. And I'll ask you to rise again, if you can. Join us here under the healing talit in the center of our sanctuary. If you're in special need for healing, if there's a loved one who's at home or in a hospital, if it's you yourself that needs healing of mind, soul, don't be shy. Please come all the way under the healing talit. There's amazing energy that comes from us gathering here. And if you're not under the healing talit, Carrie, come all the way here. And if you're not under the healing talit, take a step forward and try to put your hand on the shoulder of someone in front of you. Try to look around. If they feel comfortable, do it. If they give you a sign that they're not interested, respect that. But the idea is that even if I'm standing here, I know that I'm connected to each and every one of you right now, and your energy, your love, your support are part of what I need for my healing. Because there's not a single person in us that does not need healing. And what doesn't hurt today might hurt tomorrow, and what hurts today, God willing, won't hurt tomorrow. And for some of us, there are things that are not curable, and all we ask is for healing of Spirit so that we can face the challenges in front of us with courage and with patience and with resilience. So please say the name of the people that you're praying for their healing out loud. We pray together. Our God and God of our ancestors, please help us never forget there is nothing that we cannot overcome. We might not find a cure for everything that is hurting us. There might not be an answer to our grief. But as long as we are together, as long as we're able to open our eyes to the wonder of life, to be appreciative of the blessings of our lives, we can overcome any moment of darkness, every moment of sadness or despair. Adonai, please help us never forget that.
Amen.
The person next to you might need a hug. Give it to them if they look like they're consenting. Please have a seat. Please have a seat. We have a deal with you that if you have a reservation for 7:30 on PGA and you don't make it, I pay for dinner. And my discretionary fund is low. I just bought a lot of oil. My friends, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. In the center of Parshat Kedoshim is probably one of the most famous sentences ever. You've seen it 100 times. Next year it's going to be the theme in our school. You're going to come to our school. You're going to see it hanging on all the walls. Ve'ahavta lere'acha kamocha, translated as, love your neighbor, fellow, stranger, Re'ah. We know that we'll talk about this. Love your re'ah, because it's re'acha kamocha. Love your, let's say right now, neighbor or fellow as you love yourself. But I want to shock you a little bit. I'm glad you're all sitting down. Because if you were standing, this might be... That sentence does not stand alone. There's something that comes before it. If you look at the Torah portion, and I just have it over here just to prove to you, it says, V'ahavta le'racha kamocha, but before it says, Lo tikom ve'lo titor et bnei amecha. It comes with hopefully a sentence that will help us understand what does it mean to love our something like ourselves. And what does that sentence say? You shall not take vengeance or bear a grudge against members of your people. So first it tells, don't take a grudge, don't have any vengeance against your own people. And then, love your re'ah as you love yourself. I am Adonai. So the question now is a huge argument. You know, we Jews, we love to argue. And it's a huge argument between what does this first sentence teach us about what does the first part of the sentence teach us about the second? And the argument is between Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Ben Azai. And it's an amazing argument because it's so relevant to Israel of today. And it's so relevant to our lives today. And that's what's so fascinating about Torah, that while it was written so many years ago, it's so relevant for us today. And we just have to find that relevancy. So what does that? You shall love your neighbor as yourself. Rabbi Akiva says that is a great principle of the Torah. And what does he say? Rabbi Akiva basically says, as Rea is kind of a mirror to, just as you are not supposed to take vengeance or bear a grudge against members of your people, love your fellow. Look at the translation, and this is most of the translations. In parentheses it says, love your fellow Israelite as yourself. Rabbi Akiva says this entire sentence tells us how to treat our own people. Don't bear a grudge or vengeance against your people. And then love your people, your neighbors, which are basically your brothers and sisters, the Jewish people, as yourself. Ben Azai says this book is the book of the descent of men, is a more important principle. Ben Azai basically says, no, love your Rea. Rea talks about all humanity. The sentence tells us how we should treat our own people, and then it tells us how to treat everybody else, right? Two very legitimate ways to look at it. So against, in your people, don't carry any grudge and don't revenge, no revenge. And for the other people, your Rea, your other people, you shall love them as you love yourself. And that is the question of, are we a particular religion? Are Jews supposed to be for Judaism, or is Judaism for Jews? And then we'll move it on in a moment to a different. But basically, should we as Jews take care of Jews? Should we worry more about what it means to be Jewish and the Jewish people come first and above everything else? Or do we have an obligation as Jews to look at the world, to say, okay, this is how we treat our own people, but we have an obligation to other people as well. And this argument has not been settled. It still goes on, and in a way it goes on in Israel of today. Because what's happening in Israel of today, and it's going to resume on May 2nd when the Knesset resumes its summer seating, and we're going to see what happens with these reforms and so on, is basically a battle between people who say that Israel is supposed to be a Jewish state. And if you read the article I shared on Facebook today, although I'm not a big fan of Leibovich and his writings altogether, this article was amazing because he basically said, is Israel supposed to be a Jewish state? Are we supposed to take care of the Jewish identity of Israel? Or is Israel supposed to be a state for Jews, meaning it's supposed to be part of the world? Now show me another place in the world where airports are closed one day a year. Anybody know of a place? In the Jewish state, in Israel, airports are closed on Yom Kippur. So what do we want? Do we want to be a Jewish state that follows Judaism and says on Yom Kippur their airports are closed? Or do we want to be part of the world? And in the normal, regular world out there, airports are open 365 days a year. Do we want to be a country that says studying Torah is more important than serving in the army and make it legal to put that same level? Or do we say no? In every other country in the world, everyone, regardless of what they believe and who they are, if there's a mandatory draft, they're drafted. That is really, and I want to suggest one way to solve this issue. How many times does it tell us in the Torah, does it mandate us to love God? How many times that it says, V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha in the Torah? Anybody want to guess? Take an educated guess. Once, right? One time. The V'ahavta that we read in the Shema, one time, Deuteronomy, it says, love Adonai your God. We have a commandment to love God only once. How many times does it say, love your fellow, your Rea? Twice. I want to see that as a sign. I want to see that as a sign that God says, hey, listen, I'm your God. And yes, we are the Jewish people. And yes, you need to love me. And I want to love you. And I want to have this loving relationship with you. But what really matters is that you as the Jewish people be a light unto the nation. That you take that love, that I am Adonai your God, and you share it with the world. And that is maybe, and hopefully, how we, at least, or I, suggest that we translate this, not as love your fellow Israelite, but love your fellow as you love yourself. And there's another beautiful way to look at it, and again, we could teach an hour about this, but I'll finish with this. Those of you, we have bar mitzvah students sitting in the back. They're already kind of looking at what's going to be over here. There's a trope with the writing of Torah. There comes trope. And when you read the sentence, it's mercha tipcha. It connects the v'ahavta lere'acha, and it puts the kamocha, like you, on the side. It could have been different. It could have been, they could have connected all three words with different tropes. So the trope helps us read. So it says, love your neighbor. Love them. And then how? Just as you love yourself, because your neighbor is like you. That is the idea. Kamocha. It's not loving him as you love yourself, because unfortunately not all of us love ourselves so much. And there's a lot of therapy that needs to be done until we can love ourselves enough to love others. But we have to see others exactly like we are. It is the hardest thing, and I've said this many times from this bima. It is the hardest task of the human being, and especially of any human being, to wake up in the morning and to remember that whenever they encounter someone who looks different, who feels different, who believes different, who votes different, who believes that everything, who has to look at them and to say, I'm not better than you. You grew up differently, you think differently, somebody taught you something else than me, but you are still a creature of God. Ani Adonai, I am God. God is in each and every one of us, and that is the hardest task that we have as human beings. And maybe that is what it means to be kadosh. Maybe that is what it means to be holy. But the moment that I could see anybody and everybody created in the image of God, then I reached that holiness. And so I wanted to end today inviting Abby and Alyssa and a special guest star on the bima. Her name is Eden, for those of you who don't know, to express that optimism. I really do believe that if we preach this again and again, and if each of you preach it to your friends, and if we teach people to look at others as if they were too created in the image of God, and we understand that the greatest rule of the Torah is to love others because they are, not as we love ourselves, because they are like us, then this world will be a better place. And in Israel, on Independence Day, there's one song that reflects that optimism, that we are heading to a better place because we're teaching this message. Bashana Haba, next year, we will be okay. Just keep this teaching on your lips, share it with others, and next year, Yeh Tov.
בשנה הבאה נשב על המרפסת ונספור ציפורים נודדות, ילדים בחופשה ישחקו תופסת בין הבית לבין השדות. או תראה כמה טוב יהיה בשנה הבאה. או תראה כמה טוב יהיה בשנה הבאה. Join with us. או תראה כמה טוב יהיה בשנה הבאה. או תראה כמה טוב יהיה לשנה הבאה.
God willing, we pray that as we celebrate 76 to Israel, it will be good. And I think we found the next cantor of Temple Judea. Thank you, Eden. We are ready to continue with the counting of the Omer. As you know, we are in this period between Passover and Shavuot in which we prepare ourselves every day to take one more step in this counting, one more step in killing our egos, one more step in adopting and bringing in Torah so that we can be the best version of ourselves. That is why we count the Omer. The counting of the Omer is found on page 278. Check off, you did one more mitzvah, you only have 612 left. You counted the Omer. We haven't actually did because we have to say Hayom 30 ב-20 yom shem 3 shavuot ו2 yamim la'omer. Today are 3 and 20 days that are 3 weeks and 2 days of the Omer, which means that we're almost halfway towards Shavuot. And if you haven't caught up yet, catch up with us and make a small pledge to do something small every day. It could be a phone call, it could be a donation, it could be for yourself walking, it could be meditating for 5 minutes, it could be saying Modeni, it could be saying the Shema at night, it could be hugging someone just 5 more seconds every day. Something that indicates to you, wow, I'm on a journey. That journey will end in Shavuot as we celebrate the receiving of the Torah. Because my friends, it is upon us to be the change that we want to see. Aleinu. It's Aleinu. It's upon us. Turn to our Kaddish, just a few short announcements. First of all, I want to thank again Andy, Pam, and Mason. Yeah, for sponsoring our pre-onik today in honor of Preston's baby naming. You're still awake. You like us. Yeah. Can't say that about everyone, but about you. With that, such a smile. Yeah. I also want to just remind you that in 2 weeks from now, we're celebrating my 13th year at Temple Judea, my bar mitzvah, and Rabbi Levine's, our founding rabbi's 50th year in the rabbinate. He will be here together with Rabbits and Susan. Larry Hoffman will be here, a couple of other guest surprises. This is an event, we're already kind of full. It's an event for members only, a celebration for our members. We're always welcome to join us and be a member, but it's a member-only event. And please RSVP because we're really reaching that point where soon we're going to be closed off. We're 2 weeks out. And it is, I know that in the last week people will call and they will be disappointed. So don't wait till the last moment. And next Friday, May 5th, we are back to our beach Shabbat, 6 p.m. at Carlin Park. If there is inclement weather, we will meet here and come here to do it. So we have that ability, and you'll know, we all know how to identify inclement weather, and you'll just show up here, right? Okay. No need to that. So that's good. Now we take a deep breath. And we do what we as Jews do, which is fascinating. Even when we're at this amazing sense of joy of this gift of Shabbat, we remind ourselves that we would not be here and we would not be who we are if it were not for the people that we loved so much, people that were part of our lives, that were by our sides, that taught us or laughed with us and loved with us. And so we take a moment to acknowledge that part of our ability to be here today is because of who they were and who they still are, not in physics, not in a physical presence, but in a spiritual presence. And so as a congregation, and if you're a mourner and the name of your loved one is read, I invite you, encourage you to stand so that we can wrap you with that sense of comfort and love that you so need. Today as a congregation, we remember Florence Bloom, sister of Charlie Kruger and sister of Ellen. We remember Spencer Clark, husband of Lenore Clark, passed away this week. Robert Kleisler, partner of Sheila Olinsky, he passed away this week. Dorothy Lipson, grandmother of Rachel Chesler. Marvin Rothman, husband of Marcia Rothman. Kim Slater, daughter of Margot and Richard Slater. And our dear friend, which was here as a regular on most Fridays when they were at 7:30. Harvey Siegel, whose wife Jerry and his children Amy and Steve are here with us tonight. Harvey is blessed memory in our hearts always. We also remember those who passed at this time in seasons past, and if you're a mourner and your name for your loved one, we encourage you to stand. Edward Aarons, William Bast, Charlotte Baum, Ward Baum, Bernice Bloomberg, Sheldon Bufford, Peril Kaplan, Eugene Cohen, Carol Ann Davis, Ben Eisenberg, Bella Feinstein, Ricky Finzi, Samuel Fleischman, Evelyn Frisch, Shirley Glasser, Morris Glassman, Harold Glenn, Harold Goodman, Stanley Gross, Millie Harbor Epstein, Rose Heimowich, Jeff Halpern, James Hauser, Mildred Holtzman, Elise Kaplan, Nathan Katz, Murray Klein, Mark Canster, Malka Liu, Pina Liu, Minnie Lowenstein, Lillian Richmond, Francis Rosenblatt, Edward Rosenstein, Joseph M. Scheinberg, Florence Shear, Barnett Schilling, Janet Schneider, Harry Schwartz, Morris Schuken, Lena Smolin, Beth Snyder, Nathan Waldman, Ruth Wasserman, David Weisberg, Clarence Weltman, Matilda Westler, Aaron Wolpert, Abe Werble, Rory Zinman, Bernard Zitten. If I mispronounce the name, I apologize. If there are other names that you need to add or correct, please raise your hand and let me know.
Percy Rubenstein. Bernard Hill.
Of course, this week our Kaddish is also devoted to all those who have sacrificed their lives for the state of Israel. Whether in war or through acts of terror, victims of acts of terror. And may their memory, all their memories, be a blessing. We rise for the Kaddish on page 294. יתקדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברך רעותי וימליך בחוטי, בחייכון וביומייכון ובחיי לכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן, יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם עולמי עולמיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו, לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה דאמירן בעלמה, ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. May the one who creates harmony and high bring peace to us, to all of Israel, to all of humankind, because we've just learned today that loving your Rea Kamocha means seeing every human being in this world as if they are created in the image of God and doing all we can to treat them as we would want to be treated. And so we continue or conclude with our motto, joyous Judaism that inspires action. Eve do it, Hashem b'simcha, come and do God's work with joy.
את אדוני בשמחה. עבדו את אדוני בשמחה.
drive carefully. The roads are wet. Shabbat shalom. All right, the direct. Doesn't do the direct anymore. They killed us. You guys, American Israel, they screwed us with our direct flight back. Yeah. Thank you so much for being our. Thank you so much. What? Thank you so much. I'll see you in a moment. We'll see you in a second. All right. Shabbat shalom. Give me a call, okay? You got my text. Good. Glad I sent it once in a while. Well, we'll come back here as soon as you can. Look at us. You can see us from video. Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Bye, my friends. Bye, 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 bye. Talk with Pat. She'll give you a call. Oh, it's Mark's yard site. It's unbelievable. I can't believe. In 9 years. Unbelievable. Take care, darling. Shabbat shalom. If you're in the area, give me a call. Let's get together. It's been a while. So give me a call and we'll get together. I'll tell you all about it when we meet, okay? It was great. Just give me a call on Monday and we'll set, no problem. Absolutely. I just have to say goodbye to everyone and I won't remember. So you give me a call on Monday, okay? What? So give me a call. Thank you. Shabbat shalom. Good to see you. Good Shabbat. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Good to see you. So nice you came with your dad to say, where? Why are you alone today?
He was here in the meeting.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear. Mazel tov. Until 120, my friends. Until Rosalie. It's okay. Until 120. It's all good. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Thank you. I'm glad. Do you know Debbie Paul? Oh, very nice. Very, that's very good. You should get to know more people. Jerry Sue, thank you. You're without a cane. Very first time I see you. Very good, very good. Don't get in any car accidents. Good. Mazel tov again. Mazel tov. Thank you for joining us. Tzvi. Tov מאוד על הכיפק. Shabbat shalom ומבורך. Shabbat shalom, Dale. Mwah. Thank you for sending me. We're going to get together next week. Good. All right. Shabbat shalom. Thank you so much for joining us. This is so good. Hey, our pleasure. Our pleasure. Thank you. Shabbat shalom. Thank you for joining us. Drive carefully out there, okay? Shabbat shalom, Gear. Shabbat shalom. I kept going. Hello. No, you're still making it to your 7:30 reservations. I'm very keen on that. I hope Shabbat brings comfort. It's not the same here without him, but no, it's not. But it's going to take time. You know, Rabbi Levine taught me, give time. Give time. Okay, dear? Okay, drive carefully, okay? I hope we'll see you. Come visit a lot and come with her. Okay. Hi, dears. Your brother-in-law. Hey, for us, say Shabbat Shalom. Paul, Shabbat Shalom. Big brother. Very nice. Good to see you. Welcome. We're so happy that you're here with us. Thank you. Very nice. Goodbye, everyone. Bye, Sheila. Rabbi Bruce, goodbye. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you. Shabbat. Say hi to Shabbat Shalom to Jed. Good to see you. No, we'll come visit you before. I'm planning a drive. I'll let you know. But anyways, have an amazing summer. If I don't, come back fast. Don't stay too far. Don't too much. Thank you, man. Thank you. Okay. Oh, mwah. I have to call Jillian. She brought a good friend of her to join the temple, 4th year. Craig and Amy. Yes, they done. Thank you so much. It was, yeah, absolutely. Hi, my dear. Thank you. Beautiful. Hi, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Good Shabbos. Shabbat Shalom. Bye, Reda. Shabbat Shalom. thank you for playing. Thank you for the rogalach. I think you saw how happy it made me. I think I did not hide my, yeah. Thank you. No, that's so amazing. It's so amazing. I love her connection with us, and that's so it's very special. We'll make sure to. And we're not letting go. You are one amazing baby. How are you still awake? 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 Thank you, man. Thank you. זהו, ראיתם מה זה טמפל ג'ודיה עכשיו? איזה יופי. אתם בכלל ערים, זה מדהים שאתם ערים. זה ממש מדהים שאתם ערים. לא, וזה, אתה יודע, בגשם, בקיץ, תבואי הנה באמצע ינואר בחוף, יש פה רק מקום, אנשים עומדים פה בלובי, כאילו זה מפוצץ, כן. מאוד מאוד יפה. מה? לא, אנחנו נוסיף תפילות וזה, אנחנו אוהבים, עדיף שיהיה צפוף ומלא מאשר גדול וריק. תמיד, בואו נלך לכיוון הזה. Never again. No. 3 times. That's all. I said. That's it. I'll see you on Sunday. Okay. Bye, Steph. Thank you. Mwah. לא דיברתי כי זה עדיין הפתעה, אז עושה פעם. עכשיו כשנגיד משהו, לא רציתי, אנחנו נציג וזה, הכל עוזר. לא, רציתי להגיד משהו, אבל עוד לא שמנו את זה, כן. Is this yours? What? When we're going to get, when we're doing